Why are there so many shows starring Muppets and dozens of movies too? They said they'd watch every one and they mean it. It's something that they've got to do. So now they've pledged you a lifelong commitment. Muppets, Matthew and Sam.
Welcome to Commitment, the podcast where two friends have vowed to watch all things Muppets. I'm Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz.
And this week, we're back in the nursery discussing
Did we ever leave?
It feels like we haven't. But I think technically last week we left for a bit to go
right.
hang out with our storyteller friend.
I think you're right.
So we are back in the nursery to discuss some more season 4 episodes of Muppet Babies. And a couple other Muppet appearances from November 1987. But this week we watched My Muppet Valentine, Invasion of the Muppet Snackers, and Twinkle Toe Muppets.
Bad combos of words, in my opinion.
And I'm sad / happy to report, Sam. Percentage update of the week. We're at 48% of the way through Muppet Babies.
We only go up 1 percentage point every time. That's insane. How is that possible?
It was a couple percentage points, to be fair. I think it's like maybe 2%. But the problem is...
I'm so sure we were at 47% last time.
The problem is there's like just over 100 episodes of Muppet Babies. So every episode we watch is less than 1% of Muppet Babies.
Okay. So the rounding just works out that sometimes we're not going to hit that 2%, basically.
Right. Yeah. I think next time we will just tick over 50%. I think it'll be like 50.2 or something like that. So
what are we doing with our lives?
No. You don't ask that. That's the...
Okay.
It's very easy to unravel that sweater if you pull that thread.
I was watching it yesterday evening and Rachel walked in, Muppet Babies, and Rachel walked in and they were just going like and Rachel was laughing at me and then she started going I know they do that a lot.
Yeah, I feel like there's lots of Muppet things we watch that if our wives walk in, I'm like, hey, you should sit down and check this out.
Yeah, this is great.
This is
the
great.
Christmas toy. Nobody's ever seen this. It's amazing.
I was just going to say the Christmas toy, Sam.
Yeah.
I'm in the Christmas spirit. I've been thinking about watching it again this year. But, Muppet Babies, there's never been like a moment that I've even gone to my wife and said, I got to tell you about this thing that happened on Muppet Babies.
There's been moments when I've tilted I watched on my laptop where I tilt my laptop away from her so she doesn't look over and see Miss Piggy inflated with like her giant diaper sticking out and says like, what are you doing with your life?
We canceled a dinner tonight so that you could watch Miss Inflated Piggy over here.
And she inflates so often.
Well, it's been a long time actually since we've recorded an episode, and a lot has happened in that time. We last recorded on November 3rd, so
holy schmoly,
the world is different now for many reasons.
Yeah, Jesus.
But most recently, the biggest earth-shattering news that has happened is that it has been officially announced that MuppetVision 3D is closing its doors. And there is some good news attached to this bad news. They are also, I don't know why I'm saying this like it's breaking news. By the time you hear this episode, everyone who listens to a podcast about Muppets will know these things. But if
it's
for
our
somehow,
take on it, man.
Yeah. If for somehow you haven't heard about this, they are also retheming the Aerosmith Rock and Roller Coaster to be Muppets.
Why? Okay, so I want to talk about that first real quick.
Okay, about the Rock and Roller Coaster?
Yeah. Are they doing that? I think that's great. I love this idea. Are they doing that because everybody talked about it so much, or did somebody know they were doing that and leak it to? Because this has been something that
Mm,
people have talked about for years, right?
yeah.
Have they?
Yeah.
Is this like an idea that was manifested by people talking about it so much, or something that they've been thinking about and were like testing the waters? I never know how these like. That's just such a mystery,
I can't imagine that was the next idea after they had the conversation about should we get rid of Aerosmith?
right?
This ride's getting outdated. I'm sure they were thinking, Green Day or like
Yeah,
another more popular band than Aerosmith that still is like big
for
enough.
old heads, but also has a little bit of that overlap. Yeah,
Right. Yeah. Which at the time in the 90s, Aerosmith
yeah.
fit the bill. But since the 2000s, I think everyone's been like, still doing that Aerosmith ride,
And I have to
huh?
imagine at some point when they were developing the ride, they did think we're gonna retheme this, right? And they just never got
Yeah.
around to it. I would assume.
Or it's just not a priority when they bought
Yeah,
Star Wars. They're like, oh, who gives a shit about Aerosmith?
yeah.
We got Chewbacca.
And then this time they were like, we're just gonna do something that we're never gonna have to retheme, and people will just say, okay, it's
Yeah.
Muppets.
The cynical part of my brain, which I try to avoid most of the time, says this was they saw people talking about it and went, that's actually a pretty good
That's a
idea.
pretty free idea for us, also.
And if we're going to take away their beloved show that is something that takes up a lot of real estate,
Yeah.
what if we throw them this crumb to balance out? Because, they didn't have to announce these things on the same day. The reason
Right.
they do is to be like, yeah, I know we're ruining your day, but look, there is a little bit of good news.
But are Muppet fans really that powerful? Like, we're not Star Wars
Ooh.
fans. We're not gonna
Oh, thank God.
burn everything down. We're just gonna
I mean,
grumble
I
about
have
it.
seen some troubling tweets since they announced MuppetVision 3D of people. The way they talk about Disney
Yeah, but I
is
think we
like,
can
I
take.
don't think
Yeah.
you want those words on the internet
Oh,
at
okay.
some point.
I haven't looked too deeply into it, but I believe you.
Yeah. There's a certain date in January that has been referenced multiple times
Oh no.
in what people might do to keep MuppetVision 3D awake
No,
or
but no one
alive.
will do it. No one will do it.
No. I understand it's jokes, but I do think I was bummed to hear the news, obviously,
Hmm.
but it's one of the least surprising things I've ever heard. Like,
It's the same with when they announced that Dinosaur Land USA and Animal
right.
Kingdom was going away. It's like you don't know what you have here, and you
Mm-hmm.
shouldn't do this. And there's
Yes.
ways you can plus up what you have to make it
Right.
something people like. But like this is a special like that to me. Dinosaur Land USA, very special. I love Dinosaur Land USA. I think it's hilarious. And same with it's just like you don't know what you have and you're squandering it for Monsters Inc. Land, which I
Yeah.
guess people like Monsters Inc., but that movie is old.
Yeah, I mean they have the sequel came out a while back, and then they have the Disney Plus TV series, which I don't know that a
I
ton of
didn't even
people
know that
watched, but
exists. Yeah.
it might be one of those things like Cars where people with kids are like, "Oh, my kid only watches Monsters Inc. all day every day."
I guess.
But like we don't watch Monsters Inc. all day every day, so we don't really understand that.
Right.
From a theme park point of view, I understand the impulse, and even, if it wasn't at the you know, at the death of Muppet Vision, I applaud the idea of retheming a whole area that doesn't have a ton of theming to it currently.
Yeah. Sure.
With like, ooh, what's this lamppost look like in Monsterville
Yeah.
or whatever?
Yeah.
Like, it's gonna be fun to look at or to go eat at Harryhausen's or whatever.
Right.
But it is a bummer that it is at the expense of not only Muppet Vision 3D, but Pizza Rizzo.
Yeah. Rest in peace, Pizza Rizzo. They have said they're gonna save the fountain somehow, though.
Okay, so let's talk
Right?
about that a little bit.
Okay.
There's been some in the press release and in like the Jim Henson Company's statement about this.
Uh-huh.
There's been a couple references to something being preserved in some way.
Right.
There's a next act for Muppet Vision 3D. Now, I don't personally think they're just going to put it in another building. I put this out there on Twitter. People really, really like that idea.
Yeah.
But I did not put it out there as a serious thing that I think will happen.
They could ship it back to California. right?
Yeah, but I don't think they will. Honestly, like Disney doesn't really bring back or move things once they've closed them.
Yeah.
It's very rare. They could always do like an anniversary thing somewhere down the line, like a
Captain
Captain
EO.
EO. But the
Yeah.
problem is MuppetVision 3D has interactive theater elements with like the
Right.
Swedish Chef and stuff
Right.
that you can't just pop it into any old
You need the
theater.
whole thing. You need the pre-show to explain parts of it. You need
You need
that's right.
Sweetums running out. So as far as like preserving it, what I imagine that means is, hey, we're gonna put it on Disney Plus for you.
Yeah.
Like obviously that's not a great situation, but having it very, in great quality, like obviously this thing was made on film. You can scan this and get a 4K
Right.
like release of MuppetVision 3D, but you're missing a lot. You're missing the queue. You're missing
The
a lot of the
3D.
fun. The 3D, which I'm fine missing,
You're
honestly.
getting sprayed with water. You're
Yeah,
the
there's
Swedish chef's
definitely
behind you shooting holes and stuff.
Yeah, that part will be a little confusing if you're just
Yeah.
watching it at home. Maybe they can figure out some sort of Apple Vision Pro
Or
situation.
something. Yeah, I don't know how you do it. Like you film a ride through with I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it.
But they I think that's another thing where they also, in my head, they're at the idea stage of that.
Mm-hmm.
They don't know the answer to how they're going to end up preserving this. They mentioned
Yeah.
possibly saving the piggy fountain and putting it somewhere else, but it's like, where?
I guess in front of the new rock and roller coaster, they could do that.
Yeah, I think you could also move it over to Epcot and put it by like Sam's barbecue thing he's got.
Oh yeah, because she is dressed like the
Statue of Liberty, and it's like the
Yeah.
American themed thing.
Right.
So you could
And that
incorporate
place,
it there.
Have you been to that place? That
I have
place
not.
There's just his head is on the sign.
Yeah, it seems
That's
sad.
It's not. I wouldn't call it sad. It's just very understated.
Which the Muppets, notoriously understated.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, I think it's a huge bummer that they're like losing out this whole. It's like the death of the dream that was never realized, because there was this whole pitch for this Muppet area of Disney World to have multiple rides and themed buildings. And over time, there's just been so many chipping aways where it's like they painted over the big Kermit and Piggy mural. They closed
There's
the gift
the big
shop.
balloon on top of the building that's not there anymore. Yeah.
There's lots of just little things over the years where they were taking things away.
Sad. The gift shop just sitting there closed since like COVID or even maybe before that. That's like, what are you doing?
I think it was a COVID thing, because I think when I went in 2018, it was open and I bought a stuffed Kermit there. But yeah, it is, again, I will say it's not shocking. I think a lot of people talk about it, it is Jim Henson's last production with the Muppets. And so having it be preserved in that way is, important to a lot of us.
Yeah, Congress should do something about this.
But it is also, a very capitalistic theme park company who sees a almost 40-year-old attraction and goes, well, I bet we'll sell a few more tickets if we replace that with a new thing.
I just wonder if that's even true, though. Like,
I think nobody's buying, aside from diehard Muppet fans.
Yeah.
No, a lot of people aren't buying tickets to go to Muppet Vision specifically.
Yeah.
That's not the reason they go to Disney World.
I wonder how much the difference between people buying tickets to go to Monsters Inc. World is like versus people buying tickets to go to an expanded Muppet Land that they could do with that extra real estate. I don't know what they would do. They could do the Muppet Great Movie Ride. Like that was something that I think has been thrown around, and the Great Movie Ride's gone. So put that in the back of the land, or like, I don't know. And the other thing that bothers me is MGM Studios, which is not what it's called anymore. I don't even remember what it's called.
It's just
anymore.
Hollywood Studios.
Hollywood Studios. I love Hollywood Studios. That's my favorite one. I don't know why. I think a lot of people hate it, but that's my favorite one.
I don't dislike it because obviously I like Star Wars, so Star Wars Land being there is great.
Yeah.
But it is like a half-day park. Like you can knock out Hollywood Studios pretty quickly.
Yeah.
I think for me, as far as Hollywood Studios goes, a lot of people were theorizing that they might replace Star Wars Launch Bay or the Animation Courtyard with Monsters Inc. Land.
Yeah, the Animation Courtyard is weird. Nobody goes there.
And Star Wars Launch Bay
is also weird.
Also weird. And I was there in 2018, and it was pouring down rain like it does in Florida very often.
And there was still nobody in there.
Yeah,
Oh,
we sought some refuge in the Star Wars launch bay, and there was like 4 people in there doing the same thing, and I'm like, wow, even in the worst weather, no one else is coming inside here.
And those are especially weird because it's like that's like the center of the park where Great Movie Ride is, and to the left is the launch bay, and to the right is Animation Courtyard, and they're both just empty.
I mean, I assume if you look at the concept art, they're not knocking down any of the buildings aside from the other Italian restaurant.
That isn't Muppet themed or anything. It's just just there. Yeah.
But so my gut says they don't have to knock much down, and they just build the new roller coaster building.
Right.
And
in the back.
Yeah. Whereas anywhere else, they're going to have to knock everything down and build everything from scratch to get a whole town center thing. So I understand it, but, you know.
Just make a little Muppet Courtyard or Animation Courtyard is. Just do it.
I mean, they're talking about not necessarily retheming, but adding more Muppet stuff to the area by Rock and Roller Coaster, that Sunset Boulevard idea, of basically expanding what those gift shops include to incorporate some more Muppets over there, which is nice. But
I guess my point that I was starting to make was that to replace that with Monsters Inc., it's like it's movie world. Monsters Inc. is a movie, and I appreciate that is a movie, but like to expand, to add a part of the park where it's like the Muppets are here and they're making movies and they're going crazy, that's like more thematic. And for them to replace a big chunk of it, and they've already done this with the Toy Story thing, which is stupid. Like that doesn't belong there, I don't think. And then this Monsters Inc. world also doesn't belong there. They are not implicitly movie related things. And I think that is an important aspect of this too, that is just like, they're just letting all the theming slip away that people worked really hard on.
I do remember loving Hollywood Studios, like when I went as a kid as well.
Yeah.
Like the MGM Studios was always, I think there was like a Goosebumps thing set up there when I was a kid.
I went to that too. And there was that really cool Honey, I Shrunk the Kids playground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You climb on an ant.
Yep.
Get inside an Oreo.
Yep.
Yeah.
All that. Yeah, the Goosebumps thing. The Ninja Turtles used to go there sometimes before Nickelodeon bought them decades later. But yeah, like walking down that old Hollywood thing up to the Tower of Terror, and that spooky music is playing. I love it. That's my favorite.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how the Tower of Terror and Muppets coexist
I do think
across the street from each other.
Well, it already coexists with Aerosmith quite poorly, I would say, because you are in old Hollywood and then you turn into Aerosmith and all of a sudden it's like, this is the 90s, extremely the 90s. So I could see the Muppets leaning into the golden age of Hollywood thing better and having like that Muppet music playing and being
I saw a good idea, which somebody was like, what if they do a holiday version of Rock and Roller Coaster and do Muppet Christmas Carol songs?
Oh my gosh, that'd be awesome.
During the holidays. Yeah. And I was like, okay, that's a good one.
I mean, I do have to give them credit because Rock and Roller Coaster is like a pretty popular ride, I think. Like that's a big amount of, that's like a big vote of confidence for the Muppets in its own way that they're doing that.
And there's a lot of areas where they can have fun with the theming throughout the queue on that one.
Right.
So yeah, I am excited to ride Rock and Roller Coaster as the Muppets. I'm very curious to see sort of, is the story the same of like, we need to get to the gig, man?
They still have, is it like Joan Cusack or something, like running
she might be,
and screaming at Aerosmith instead, just the same 90s Joan Cusack screaming at the Electric Mayhem.
I mean, she's in a Muppet movie with the Very Merry Muppet Christmas, so she could still come in. It'd be a little fun Easter egg. I think that's what I'm excited for too, is the Easter eggs, because I'm sure Waldo C. Graphic will still be included somewhere.
Yeah,
they're not going to let that guy die.
Better than Aerosmith Easter eggs.
Oh no, that could happen too.
Well, those will be there, but now in the line, there's a bunch of Aerosmith Easter eggs. That's just like, all right, I'm not a 65-year-old man, so
yeah. To me, the newest Aerosmith song is "Jaded," and I think that was like in 1999 or something,
or the one from Armageddon.
Which is even older.
Yeah, that's the newest one to me.
Yeah, Jaded came out in 2001. Okay.
You think they're mad that the ride's getting replaced? They probably would know.
They're fine. They have all of the money, and they retired as a band a couple of years ago. So I feel like they're good.
Yeah, they're okay.
I said that nobody buys tickets just to go to MuppetVision 3D. But that is a thing that we are currently planning to do.
Yeah, we have to.
Yeah, I think we've talked about it multiple times on this podcast because we saw the writing on the wall.
Yeah.
And said if they were going to shut it down, we would go.
I mean, even if naturally we got to that part of his career of like we got to that year, we'd still go to ride
I think
it
that
anyway,
was the best case scenario.
Yes,
we were hoping that like by the time we got to that year, which is probably I'd say about a year and a half, 2 years from now is when we'll hit MuppetVision.
Okay, so we're not too far out.
No. But I think the hope was that when we hit that point, we would make a special trip to Disney World.
Yeah, and they'd pay for it.
I think we did theorize at one point that Disney would like be like, yes, please, podcasters.
They'd roll out the red carpet for us.
That's not what's happening as far as, my email inbox is currently saying. Yeah, come on, Disney. You have an opportunity here. Invite all the podcasters.
We could be the grand marshals of the parade for that day. You know how they do that? That'd be great.
Sam, that's the problem. I feel like let's just ask for the bare minimum.
Well, we're very charming. That is the bare minimum. You just sit on the thing and go.
Bare minimum is getting free tickets and free vacation to go see MuppetVision 3D.
All right.
If they happen to say you get to be the grand marshal of the day.
Grand marshals, yeah.
I'll take it.
And
by the time we're going, it won't be that far off from like right after the Super Bowl. So they would have had like Super Bowl champs be their grand marshals.
Yeah,
and
it's
so
a cool
maybe
down period.
Yeah, exactly. They need a bounce. They need a rebound.
Yeah.
And they're like, okay, well, we got the most famous. Who do we need now?
And I'll get to wear my I Bet Ralph's Nose shirt to Disney World.
I am going to be wearing my brand new that I just ordered Save MuppetVision 3D shirt.
Oh, yeah. I got to get one of those too.
I just pre-ordered that from Magic Kingdom.
Yeah.
But which obviously will be in vain. But
we'll review Pizza Rizzo Pizza.
My plan is to eat there multiple meals so we can try everything they have.
Breakfast, lunch, and dinner.
Breakfast might be rough.
Well, we can have breakfast at Star Wars, and then they have breakfast there, and then wander over to. I'm gonna drink so much blue milk. I'm gonna puke on MuppetVision. That's gonna be my legacy.
No motion whatsoever. You're gonna see Sweetums and be like,
yeah, Sweetums will be kind of blue for the rest of the run.
I mean, I don't think they're gonna refurbish that suit anytime soon.
I'm gonna tear that place up. I'm gonna go ham in there.
I don't know if I should say this, but I think those 3D glasses are coming home with me. I'm not, by nature a thief. I can only think of like one thing I've ever stolen in my life that is similar to this, and I stole a light bulb cover off of the Santa Monica Ferris wheel one time.
No, not a light bulb cover.
It was just I was like we were going around the Ferris wheel, and I like touched one of the lights and it was loose, and I was like, oh.
Yeah.
And so then I remembered where it was. And so every time we went around, I loosened it a little bit more.
You're a madman.
And so now I think somewhere in my house still I have like a little light bulb cover from the old Santa Monica Ferris wheel.
When we go in, we should just point to everything and be like, can I have this?
Dibs.
Can I have this?
Can I have this like Herbie Fully Loaded parody poster?
Oh, I would love to have some parody posters from that.
Give me the sun-bleached ones from the queue outside that are barely anything anymore. It's like the flag on the moon where it's just a sheet of white.
Yeah. I mean, I did mean to say, I do genuinely think that It's a Small World and the Haunted Mansion and Pirates of the Caribbean and Tiki Room in Disneyland should be like protected by the Library of Congress. I think there is like a case to be made that is like just as much a part of the American story.
I'll throw pirates in there.
I think I said pirates.
Oh, did you?
Well, I meant to say pirates if I didn't. Like all of those, and like the Disneyland Railroad, like the dead dinosaur section of the Disneyland Railroad, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like all of those. But I also think because this is, an American hero in a way, and Jim Henson, like if I were a congressperson, and I'm running on this, I gotta win the election.
This is one and only issue.
Yeah, I gotta go back, and I gotta win this election. I think I would be like how can I draft a bill to make them not be able to get rid of this ride?
I mean, the problem is, Sam, you have to get elected in Florida, probably.
That's true. But the guy who runs Florida hates Disney World. So
I know.
he might like that. He might be like, you're going to screw them out of something they want? All right.
Yeah, what if he secretly just loves Muppets?
That would be
That's
great.
the one thing that we could agree with Ron
we can
DeSantis
all
on.
come together.
He's like, well, but Rolf, guys, Rolf's great, right? And it's like,
Wow.
oh, well, I guess you're right about this one thing, and you're terribly wrong about everything else in the world.
How conflicting would it be if he came out and was like, I am not going to let them do this? What would you do?
Oh, shit.
Oh, no.
It was like when Ted Cruz came out as like a big fan of The Princess Bride, and everyone's like, oh, man, he ruined it now.
Well, he did those bad Simpsons impressions too.
Well, that seems like as good a time as any to move on to
Yeah,
Sam.
I think we're getting too deep into the mud.
Sam, what did we watch this week?
October 31st, 1987, the big day. You sit watching TV, eating Count Chocula, so caught up in the jubilant spirit of Halloween that you let your guard down, and before you know it, Muppet Babies roars to vile life on your screen. What's worse, almost like the show has a blasphemous mind of his own and is trying to ruin your day on purpose, today's episode, My Muppet Valentine, is about a different, stupider holiday. It's Valentine's Day at the Muppet Baby household, and Nanny has a special Valentine. Cookies with all the babies' faces on them. All the babies, that is, except for Rolf. That's right. After Nanny leaves the playroom, the babies discover that she didn't make a cookie for poor Rolf. He's sad as hell. So the rest of the babies decide to collaborate on a special secret Valentine for him to make him feel better. However, all their sneaking around and hiding from Rolf just makes him feel even more dejected. Eventually, Rolf locks himself in the closet, and the other babies are freaking out until, shortly thereafter, he comes back out and reveals that he wasn't mad at anybody. He was just working on writing a special Valentine song. He sings it, and when he's done, Nanny gives Rolf his cookie, which he just forgot in the kitchen. And then the episode's over. Oh well, you think. It's still Halloween. On a Saturday, no less. Not even Muppet Babies can mess that up. But later that night, as you're trick-or-treating, you can't stop thinking about that stupid fucking episode. Muppet Babies wins this round. November 7th, 1987. It's November again. And it feels like it's been November, and you've been 10 years old for like way too many years in a row to make sense. Before you can think about that too hard, the TV turns on, seemingly all by itself, and you see the only thing scarier than the realization you were just about to have, an episode of Muppet Babies. This one's called Invasion of the Muppet Snackers. The babies are starving, so they sneak into the kitchen to find Nanny mixing up a big bowl of something smelly and disgusting. Before they can figure out what that is, she ushers them back to the playroom for snack time, mentioning that the smelly thing is part of a dinner time surprise. Then they just kind of spin their wheels imagining different scenarios about gross food for like 20 minutes, get themselves really worked up about eating the smelly goo, until Nanny comes back in with the surprise, which is actually kind of a two-part surprise. First, dinner. And it's not the smelly goo, it's fried chicken that they eat picnic style on the playroom floor. Second, the smelly goo, which is wallpaper paste, because the second part of the surprise is that Nanny re-wallpapered the bathroom. Just the kind of surprise that babies love. The episode ends, the TV turns off, and you stare at your reflection in the cold, dark television screen. Also, the babies almost ate the paste at the beginning of the episode, too. Before you know it, it's November 14th, 1987, and you're back in front of the TV. This week, you aren't feeling the cold grasp of existential terror because you're having fun playing with your G.I. Joes and watching TV. Just on the edge of your perception, Muppet Babies starts. This episode is called Twinkle Toes Muppets. Baby Piggy gets back from ballet class with all kinds of high-minded ideas about how dance should be beautiful and artistic. Skeeter firmly disagrees, saying that dance should be fun and free. Nanny comes in and tells them that they're both right, and leaves the babies with a video about the different types of dance that there are in the world. Then for some reason, everybody decides that Scooter really needs to pick a side in this argument, and they torture him, like literally torture him. They're like pulling him in half until he accidentally figures out that he's amazing at tap dancing and unites the playroom with a big tap routine. Meanwhile, Cobra Commander and Dr. Mindbender have captured Falcon and Outback, and the rest of the Joes are preparing a counteroffensive. We also watched a clip of the 1987 TV movie Kids Like These. The film is a dramatization of the life of Emily Pearl Kingsley and her son Jason, who has Down syndrome. Emily raised her son with dignity not usually afforded to people with Down syndrome at the time, and wrote this movie about her experiences and struggles doing so. In the clip, Emily gets the idea to have Jason, who's named Alex in this movie, appear on Sesame Street. She calls up Joan Gans Cooney, and next thing we know, Big Bird and Alex are making words together on the show. And then we also watched the clip of the real life inspiration for this scene from a 1980 episode of Sesame Street, in which Jason and Ernie make words instead of Big Bird and Alex. And finally, we watched segments from the November 15th, 1987 episode of Dolly. This time, Miss Piggy appears on the show and immediately takes over, seizing Dolly's dressing room and her producers to reshape the show in her image. Dolly catches on to what's happening and confronts Piggy. Piggy relents, and the duo sing a duet of Rolf and Jimmy Dean's signature song, Friendship.
And the only other things happening in the world of the Muppets around this time are things we've already touched on a bit when we went through the end of the year with our Fraggle Rock animated episodes. But the big one to highlight is something that we will watch pretty soon, is when Jim wrote in his journal that on November 15th, 1987, they filmed the Hall of Fame in LA, which is the Television Hall of Fame special for the Emmys, and that will air on November 30th. So we'll watch that in just a few weeks, maybe. I don't know our schedule off the top of my head. Sometime either in the next couple weeks or next year, for all I know.
Yeah, who knows?
So before we are forced to talk about Muppet Babies, we'll talk about Kids Like These, which Sam said aired on November 8th, 1987. And yeah, this was written by Emily Pearl Kingsley, who was a writer on Sesame Street. Joined Sesame Street in 1970 and didn't retire until 2015.
Oh,
Yeah.
Was that the case in the movie? I guess you didn't watch the whole
I don't
thing.
believe so. I
Okay.
did skim through it. It does not seem like that is the case in the movie. Like the Sesame Street
Okay.
thing just sort of kind of comes up,
Right.
like a spur of the moment
She's
idea.
just watching Sesame Street, and then she's got a light bulb moment.
Yes. And Jason, the real life inspiration for this, had actually been on he was on over 50 episodes of Sesame Street throughout.
Oh, wow.
Like the time that they were doing this, and he started off like when he was a baby. He was on Sesame Street.
Cool.
This movie is about a family who has a baby with Down syndrome and spend their time advocating for him while dealing with a lot of truly awful people around them. For instance, the very first doctor they encounter after the baby is born is like, you got to give this baby up for adoption. Like, you don't want to deal with this. And that's kind of the theme of the movie. From what I can tell, this movie at the time was seen as like pioneering and important, and was made with incredibly good intentions, but a lot of it is extremely outdated now, both in, the way that they would handle like a disability or just even the words that are being used. There's a extensive use of the R word here, in a positive way, I guess, if you could even say that. They use it as just a descriptive term throughout the entire movie. So as someone who, I was only a couple of months old when this movie came out, I don't know the climate it was being released into, but it seems like it was well-intentioned, but definitely not the way we would make this movie today.
Yeah.
But I am also not an expert on this kind of thing, so I cannot vouch for it, but I will say what I went back and watched of some of the full movie, because we only watched like a minute and a half long clip to actually talk about the Big Bird part. The rest of the movie, it feels very made for TV movie, trying to make a point and very of the era, but there's definitely some very cringe-worthy moments throughout. So not one I'm going to recommend everyone go check out.
Watch it, yeah. And the clip we watched was like 1 minute and 20 seconds long or something like that.
Yeah, it's a bit out of context too, because this is a clip that has been pulled out of the movie by, I think, Muppet Wiki, put it on their YouTube account.
Right.
But this starts off at a point in the movie where Alex's mom has been trying to get him cast in a bunch of commercials because she wants other kids with Down syndrome to be able to see kids like them in commercials. And so she gets rejected by a ton of commercial agencies. and then it watches Alex watching Sesame Street and goes, aha, I've got it. 9 million kids every day watch this show.
Right.
This is perfect.
And one phone call later, he's with Big
Yeah.
Bird.
You're directly on the phone with Joan Ganscooney,
Yeah.
who's actually, playing herself in this film on the phone.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think there's not a lot to say about this necessarily, but
No.
it is interesting that it is based on a real life person's story, and there's actually real life Sesame Street footage of almost this exact scene.
Yeah, except with a different character. But it's just even more out of context. Just a nice little moment with Big Bird.
I felt a little called out when what they're spelling was Fat Rat Matt.
Hey, that's my friend you're talking about.
I'm going to make you even madder, Sam. For some reason, when I was a kid, my family called me Matt the Fat Rat.
They did?
Yeah.
That's like the meanest thing you could call somebody. What the heck?
I wasn't even, and like, this wouldn't excuse it, but I wasn't even like a chubby baby.
Were you a little rat, though?
I guess. Maybe I was just a rat. They're like, oh, what's a good descriptive word that rhymes?
Matt chewed through the power cord of the TV again.
This is like literally, I was like probably 3-4 years old when this is at its peak. I had a little denim jacket that on the back had an airbrushed cool rat with sunglasses on and said, Matt the Fat Rat.
That's pretty fucking cool. Your parents were trying to shape you into some kind of like Fonzie or like a Welcome Back Kotter character. What? You were
hey, Matt the Fat Rat's here.
Yeah. They were trying to make you cool, man. Look what you rejected them.
Look what I've become.
Yeah.
By rejecting the Fat Rat moniker.
No son of mine will ever have a Muppet podcast.
You will be the Fat Rat or nothing.
Yeah. Yeah, or like a Wolfman Jack type of guy. Oh, that would be great. Hey, it's Matt the Fat Rat.
Hey.
Yeah. I can see you doing that.
There's still time.
There's still tons of time.
In the world of radio DJs, I'm quite young.
You're just a little guy. You're spring chicken. You go in and say, I want to be a radio DJ, and they say, why?
Because I got a really cool name.
You have so much to live for.
Yeah. You have a podcast and you're deciding to move to radio from podcasting?
Wow, I love this revelation. Does that jacket still exist?
It does. I think it's at my mom's house.
Put it in a museum. You got to recreate it. You got to get a new one.
I don't think I want that.
Huh.
I wouldn't want to wear it. I'm happy to like have the jacket if my parents want to give it up and I can have that, but I don't know that I want a bigger adult version.
The Matt the Fat Rat persona.
I just don't feel like I'm a kind of like I would have to ride a motorcycle, I think, in order to pull off that look and that nickname.
Interesting. Matt lore. Love it.
Yeah. But it was like when I saw Fat Rat Matt, I was like, that's me though.
All came flooding back to you.
I mean, maybe this was their inspiration. They were watching this like, wait a minute.
That's really odd. Yeah, that's a lot of
That's our son's name.
Maybe that's why they named you that to begin with.
They're trying to come up with the name. They're like, Fat, not that one. Rat, no. Matt, huh.
We had this kid home from hospital for a month. We don't know his friggin' name yet.
Maybe Ernie will tell us.
Yeah.
The other thing we watched that wasn't Muppet Babies was the November 15th clip from Dolly. Just a heads up, if you go seeking this out, it's scattered, it's muted. You can't just watch the whole thing conveniently.
It made me so mad. Even after watching several horrible episodes of Muppet Babies, the maddest I got was that first clip was muted where she's in the bubble bath. I'd love to know what she was saying.
Yeah, she's like, here, Sam, here's what you've been dreaming of. This is it.
Yeah. What if she was talking to me?
I'm guessing parts of this are muted thanks to YouTube's copyright system of like recognizing media, maybe. Because it doesn't sound like the audio is like dipping out on the clip. There's no sound.
Doesn't exist, yeah.
I know that Dolly Parton would also open some of her episodes in a bubble bath. So this is a take on that.
I gotta watch this show.
Yeah, one of the other Miss Piggy makes another appearance later on, and when I was looking for clips of that episode, I found the opening of that episode does have Dolly Parton sitting in a bubble bath.
She was looking great in this episode.
Which one?
Dolly. Her hair was huge. She looked like she was like in a superhero outfit. She looked cool.
But yeah, in the opening teaser, Miss Piggy is in a bubble bath. And I think this is, according to Muppet Wiki, it says announces her presence and says that unlike Dolly, she doesn't wear a wig. But we weren't able to actually hear that, so we're just trusting Muppet Wiki on that one. Later on in the episode, something we didn't get to see, Miss Piggy sings Someone to Watch Over Me. Apparently, it says, in part to lampoon Parton's performance of the song in the first episode.
Why are they trying to bust on Dolly so hard?
I think it's just Piggy sees her as a threat. We've talked about how they look alike, and so I think it is Miss Piggy going, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You're coming for the throne here,
Do you
Dolly.
think Frank came in, though, and said, I'm going to be really mean to Dolly Parton. Get out of my way.
I like the idea of Frank and Dolly being pals.
Me too. I think that would be a great duo, because her and Miss Piggy are a great duo.
Mm-hmm. Elsewhere in the episode, Dolly does a sketch about a Hollywood party at one point that I watched, and she has a little chat with Spuds MacKenzie at this Hollywood party.
Is it the real Spuds MacKenzie?
I mean, it might be one of them.
But it's a dog. It's not like
it's
a
a
guy
dog.
in
It
a
looks
costume
very
or
much
something.
like a Spuds MacKenzie. I don't know if they just got a dog and made it look like Spuds MacKenzie.
Does he talk to her?
He does not talk back.
Okay, she's just talking to him. Yeah, I wasn't sure.
But she goes to a big old fancy Hollywood party and Spuds is
and
there.
The original party animal is there. Remember the ads they did where he was dead?
I don't.
It was
it like
really
a
recently.
baby peanut?
It was in basically it was in the last couple of years. It kind of was around that same time where it was his ghost, the ghost of Spuds MacKenzie. And it's kind of awesome.
It's 2017, Ghost Spuds.
That's longer ago, yeah. I think that's a great idea.
I mean, that just reminds me that dogs die, which I don't love.
I suppose maybe that's why they didn't last very long. Yeah.
Everyone's like, so the original party animal is dead?
Yeah, but he's
what are you trying to get me to do
partying in
here?
the afterlife. What
he partied
better?
to death, Sam.
Well, you shouldn't
Why should I buy your beer
if you're a dog. Okay, that's what we learned. We learned that quickly. We also learned...
They don't say that in the commercial. They're not like, how did he die? Well,
we also learned
drank
if you
himself to
kill
death.
a dog by giving it too much beer, it comes back as a vengeful ghost that parties forever. So it kind of is a win-win, win some, lose some kind of situation.
Yeah, we're not telling you to give your dogs beer, by the way. It might sound like that's what Sam is saying.
No,
if you want your dog,
never say that.
Well, but if you want your dog to live forever and party with you forever.
Yeah, but he's tortured. You can look in his eyes and see he doesn't want to party anymore.
He's got the unfinished party business that he just can never
You can never
achieve.
party hard enough. That's the problem with partying. You can never party hard enough. You don't want to be a party ghost of all kinds of ghosts you could be.
Man, we need to introduce Andrew WK into those commercials and have Spuds ghosts and Andrew WK trying to party harder.
He's not a ghost. But maybe in the last
Andrew WK,
one,
not a ghost yet.
Maybe in the last one he does die too, though. Well, that'd be awesome. That would be a great duo. That's a good idea. I think so much. Sometimes I'm like, I don't have any good ideas. Sometimes I'm like, I should listen to old commitments and see if I had any good ideas in those episodes.
And really, I think seeing, Andrew WK and Spuds MacKenzie united is really what we need in
We
this
should
world.
pitch it at least. We should pitch some of this stuff. Why not?
To whom?
To beer company.
But continuing the Dolly Parton Miss Piggy drama, Dolly goes to introduce Miss Piggy at one point, saying that she's very excited to duet with her, but the duet has been canceled.
This is the second time she's been stood up by a Muppet in the middle of her show.
But this one is better.
Yeah, that's right.
In my opinion, the duet's been canceled. Miss Piggy forged a memo from Dolly telling everyone on the crew that Miss Piggy should get to use Dolly's dressing room.
She forged several memos as Dolly,
Yeah.
actually.
Yeah, everyone just keeps being like, but you
was
said.
in the memo, yeah.
Dolly's like, I ain't never sent a dang memo in my life.
Yeah.
But there's a producers meeting in the dressing room called by Piggy, who is also making changes to the show, giving herself solos. And you know what, Sam, I thought during all this?
What?
It's great to see Frank back as Piggy.
It really is. He's such a breath of fresh air every time we see him. He's just got it. He's so fun to watch.
I don't know how long it's actually been as we watch these things. Sometimes get a little out of whack, but it feels like it's been a long time since Frank has done something because of Little Shop of Horrors.
Yeah, well, he was in the pitch reel that we watched a couple weeks ago, but just for a second.
And in the Wall Street thing.
Yeah, but he wasn't really letting himself... The Wall Street thing, too. He wasn't fully in his Miss Piggy shit he is right now. And...
He needs to be away from Jim sometimes.
Yeah, I think that That's right. To not have to be self-conscious about like, is this taking it too far for Jim? And just being completely leaning into being really mean to Dolly Parton. That's where he really shines. He's got to be able to be a little bit of a bully. And it
Yeah.
did like make me think, I don't know. It feels like maybe how Muppets Tonight is gonna feel or something. It just is like, this stuff works. Like you could have a
Right.
Muppet variety show. This isn't so hard. This is perfect. This is where she should be. She should be screaming at a poor hapless producer and like punching him in the gut. and that's where Miss Piggy belongs.
There were a couple times, as much as it was nice seeing Frank back, that, and I'm guessing this is maybe because of the set,
Mm-hmm.
the puppeteering feels a little stiff and weird.
I didn't really notice that.
It's mostly when, like, if Piggy needs to, like, turn around or cross the stage, there's a couple moments where it just feels like this set wasn't built for puppets.
Yeah.
And so Frank has to sort of do what he can. And so there's a couple times where I noticed one, I think it's in the dressing room, where Piggy, like, turns and goes to walk across the set.
Mm-hmm.
There's, like, a moment there where Piggy just becomes a puppet. And it's just being turned, and like the life sort of goes out of her face for a minute while it's like being spun around.
She doesn't do a fun hair flip or anything like that when she turns
around.
Okay.
It's like, okay, number one priority right now, I have to turn around and get across this set.
Yeah.
And it was like a moment that it was very rare where you just see Frank maybe not puppeteering the face or giving much life to Piggy as she's turning. So my guess would be that it was limited by the fact that they're on essentially like a sitcom set that was not built for puppets.
Dolly, though, is one of those people who is like a perfect, I think maybe we talked about this with Kermit too, just like a perfect person to interact with puppets because she, I don't know, because she is like she's a cartoon character herself, but realizes she's a cartoon character. And like, I don't know, she just treats them with a dignity that is the hallmark of all good Muppet co-stars.
Well, I think, and we'll get to this in a second, the Jimmy Dean of it all is, I think, a perfect comparison because she seems genuinely delighted by the Muppets.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which I think helps a lot. That not only does she treat them, you know, it's sort of, I feel like maybe it's country music people, because like John Denver is the same way. Like
he loves
I literally,
those little guys.
We just had on the John Denver and the Muppets Christmas together last night while we were putting up our Christmas tree. And just seeing the joy he has. There's the scene where Miss Piggy's like, Jonathan, take off your glasses. And he takes them off. And she's like, put them back on. And like, he's just busting up that entire scene. And just, I feel like you can like feel the joy, as opposed to sometimes you get that like, what the hell am I doing here? This piece of fleece.
Right. I wonder what that is. Yeah. I'm trying to think if Johnny Cash liked the Muppets or not. Did he like them?
I feel like he liked them.
I think he had a good
time.
Yeah. Chris Christopherson hated the Muppets. I remember that. He looked mad.
Kenny Rogers loved the Muppets.
Kenny was game. You're right.
He was like their best friend. He wanted to like be on every week.
He wanted to stay. I think we remember saying,
yeah. Can I be a Muppet?
I'm just gonna hang out. Yeah.
Well, because there's a moment. I think, is it Scooter or somebody at some point in the Kenny Rogers episode gets hurt. And Kenny Rogers is like the one who like runs to like the first aid kit or whatever to like help him out.
They're real.
And he just feels like part of the gang.
Yeah. But yeah, you mentioning Jimmy Dean. First of all, I do think no one's ever been as delighted by Muppets as Jimmy Dean, and no one ever will be. But second of all, there is like an alternate reality where Miss Piggy is on every episode of the Dolly Parton show and is her Rolf. They check in with Piggy every week, or Piggy's always up to something.
Oh, that'd be so good.
Yeah.
Well, Piggy's appearance does wrap up after Dolly confronts Piggy and brings her out to sing Friendship. The song it was nice to hear, but it felt a little rough in the way that Kermit's duet with Dolly felt like. Maybe they don't get a lot of rehearsal time.
We've only ever seen it sung by people who sang it a bazillion times, I guess, maybe.
Yeah.
But I wonder if they did that on. I would love to hear the conversation about why they picked that song, and if she did say, "This is this is a country variety show classic that you do with a Muppet. You have to do this," or if it was an accident, basically. Like obviously Frank would know.
Yeah,
but also that happened 30 or 40. How long ago that happened?
20 years.
20 years ago.
Yeah.
So you remember stuff that happened 20 years ago, I guess. But yeah, if he just like, or if when they picked it, he was like, actually, you know what? We used to sing this on Jimmy Dean show all the time. I would just love to know what the thought behind that was. That's why
Yeah.
Dolly's got to come on the show.
Yeah, I feel like it wouldn't in my gut says it's not a Jimmy Dean reference as much as it's a just like classic sing-along kind of duet
Right.
song.
Goofy duo song.
Yeah.
Right.
But they are delightful together, and thankfully we will get to see them together again quite soon, actually.
Oh, she's on the show again, right?
Yeah, she's on
Yeah.
Dolly again, and that show only runs for like 6 more months, so
So she's like the most frequent guest on the show, probably.
maybe. Well, we've avoided this long enough. It's time to discuss 3 more episodes of Muppet Babies, kicking off with the Halloween special, My Muppet Valentine.
This made me so mad when I discovered the air date. When I was a kid, I would have been incensed because I loved Halloween specials and always I still think this is like, you're making a TV show. How do you not time out? Like, how do you not make a Halloween
Right.
special? But not like
Yeah.
they know when this stuff airs. I'm sure it's different.
Well, but like so many sitcoms and stuff start in September, like in the
Yeah.
fall. And so they know, okay,
can-
our like 4th
you can
episode of the
hone in.
season
Yeah.
is going to be Halloween.
Right. You know, there's a Saturday Halloween this production year. So we should try to nail that one. But not Valentine's
Instead, they're just like,
Day.
let's go in the
Who
opposite
cares?
direction.
Yeah.
This episode was written by Star Kaplan and Maya Matisse, who I think we've mentioned before because they also wrote Back to the Nursery.
Oh, yeah. And they were like the first people to write a Muppet show, a
It was-
Muppet Babies
yeah.
episode that wasn't that guy.
Yeah, it was in that batch where there was like 2 episodes or 3 episodes where it was like, wait a minute, new people can write this show?
Yeah.
But yeah, Star Kaplan worked on Muppet Babies in several capacities. First as assistant to producer for the 3rd season, and then as production coordinator, and finally as an associate producer for the final season. And then worked with Maya Matisse as a writing partner, and they wrote 3 episodes together. So now we've seen 2 of their 3 episodes.
And honestly, much like Back to the Nursery, I didn't think this was such a bad episode.
As we go through this is going to be very interesting because, as I said earlier, we last recorded on November 3rd with the intentions of recording this episode like 2 weeks ago, and just life happens. And so I watched this over 2 weeks ago.
Oh, okay. I rewatched it at double speed, so I kind of remember it.
I watched this episode like 2 weeks ago, and then I watched like Twinkle Toes Muppets this morning. So
you're fucked.
My memory of some of this might be a little off, but
I'll
now
keep you honest.
I'll agree with you that this was an okay episode. But it opens up with the babies making Valentines.
I immediately take it back. Anyway, continue.
Well, it opens up with the babies making Valentines, and Piggy says, I bet I get Valentines from all my favorite movie stars. And Fozzie says, me too, like Eddie Murphy and Whoopi Goldberg.
Cool.
Who both of them were like having a moment at the time.
Yeah.
But at first I was like, were they just like stand-ups at the time and that's why he picked them? Or
also, he
what?
should not be watching those. He's a baby.
Especially Eddie Murphy. Like, if he's watching a comic relief and seeing Whoopi Goldberg with Billy Crystal and Robin Williams, that's one thing. He should not be watching Raw.
We watched
although seeing Fozzie in that leather outfit,
that would be awesome. Oh, that must be like in a Muppet magazine or something. That would be so cool. We watched the Whoopi Goldberg special from kind of early in her career, and it had Rockapella on it, but it was like nasty.
Cool.
Like she was like really getting into some nasty stuff. So
dude, I you know how you look back sometimes at your childhood and you're like, where were the adults? There was certain CDs in my parents' CDs collection that I was told, don't listen to these CDs.
Don't tell them. Just put them somewhere where you don't see them. How about that?
Yep. That didn't work because the moment any parent left the house, I was like, well, I gotta know what's on those. And one of those was Eddie Murphy's 1982 album, which I think is just called Eddie Murphy. And I listened to that so much.
Wow.
And I was like 9 years old.
That's not,
That's not
for you.
No.
That's not for you.
No, but I'm sure it warped my little brain for a while.
You seem all right, but yeah, probably. But yeah, Fozzie, same deal with Fozzie. I bet Nanny says, this is my edgy comedy collection, Fozzie. You are not allowed to listen to it.
Yeah, Eddie Murphy hadn't been Donkey yet, so like the things that Fozzie must have been watching in order to be an Eddie Murphy fan.
Yeah, that rules.
He was just a big 48 hours guy. Well, Gonzo says that's nothing. I'm gonna get Valentine's from Max Headroom, Godzilla, and the swamp creature from the planet Rutabaga.
Yeah, Max Headroom and Godzilla made me have the horror of recognition. It's like Gonzo is me.
You're a Gonzo.
Am I weird?
I don't think you present weird.
Okay. Well, you know what? Gonzo wears a sweater vest and nice pants. He doesn't present weird either, for the most part, in modern times. He started wearing that pepper tie all the time, and that's a little bit too on the nose for me. But yeah.
Yeah, I think it is, maybe on the surface, people go like, oh, yeah, businessman Sam Schultz over here. And then they hear about your, like, toy collection or something, and they're like, oh, he's a real Gonzo, eh?
I'm a bit of a Gonzo, I think. And my friend the rat, Matt.
Oh, no.
Just like Gonzo.
Oh, no, I'm your Rizzo?
Yeah, you're my Rizzo.
Oh, I want to disagree, but I don't know that I can.
I think it's pretty true.
Well, these kids seem to have a weird understanding of what Valentines are for, I think. They're creating a bunch of Valentines, and they're like, well, obviously this means my favorite movie stars will send me Valentines.
Now, and they kind of were, too. They did reach into their Valentine's box and pull out Valentines from famous people a couple times.
Yeah.
That did happen. And
I don't know why that's the dream.
I don't know. It wasn't presented as a dream sequence. It was presented as I've pulled out a Steve Martin sent Fozzie a Valentine. Like that.
Right. I think Nanny's been doing a lot of work.
Yeah, I suppose. I guess that's true. It's like a Santa Claus kind of situation. That's kind of fun, actually. If you do your kid like Bluey and you're like, Bluey gave you a Valentine. I kind of like that.
I mean, I don't know what's happening in my notes, Sam, but I did look ahead a little bit, and there is an all caps bolded section later on in the episode. So
okay, let's see.
I may not remember why, but I got real angry.
Yeah.
We get to see Scooter using his computer again, which is nice to see. He has a new poetry program that fails to write a good Valentine's poem.
Yep, he makes it a useless AI poem.
Yeah, and tries ChatGPT. Doesn't work. Gonzo assigns Animal as his personal private mailman to deliver Piggy's Valentines.
Yeah.
Man, this is rough. I don't remember why I put this in my notes, but I said, why is he flying through hot dogs, marshmallows, and a banana split?
That's because he's doing that because that's what happens. He just
okay,
is.
Good. I thought I didn't write down the context, but
Gonzo has like a weird version of the wind or sleet nor hail kind of thing, where he's like neither hot dog rain nor banana split volcanoes or something like that.
Right. Okay.
Will stop you. So yeah, he's flying through all that stuff. Just cause.
Gonzo reads his Valentine poem for Piggy, which changes the way Piggy looks.
Yes, part is disgusting. But continue.
Well, and this turns into all the babies just changing each other's appearances.
Yeah.
Including a really weird animation moment about 5 minutes into the episode where Piggy gives Scooter a beard. And then for a moment, there's two Scooters animated on top of each other like a ghost.
Uh-oh. Oh, yeah, I noticed that too. And I wondered if it was a YouTube thing, but I don't think it was.
I think it's the episode. I think they were maybe like they drew Scooter and they're like, we forgot to give him a beard. And they're like, all right, I'll follow the previous cell, and somehow forgot to take the other cell off the thing.
And then
I don't really know.
Who fucking cares? This is the 4th episode we're animating and we're already checked out.
But Fozzie gets turned into a long-haired bear. Rolf gets turned into a duck.
Yeah.
And Kermit is Pickle Kermit.
A pickle on a bike is horrible.
Yeah.
Kermit gets turned into a lot of disgusting things in this batch of episodes.
Yeah, but Pickle Kermit's one of the worst.
Yeah, Pickle Kermit is bad. Is bad. This whole part is just like disturbing body horror adjacent, kind of like when they turn Animal into a bee. I did not like that. He just is too creepy looking.
This episode has the issues that I've been having with Muppet Babies this season. Is just that nothing's connected. Everything just is it happens, and then this happens, and then this happens, but nothing is like driving the episode.
Yeah, this one starts this way, but I do think with some big exceptions, I do think this one does hold together at least a little bit, because there is the through line of we have to hide from Rolf, and also Rolf's sad. We're preparing something for Rolf, and then the song is very unusually for Muppet Babies thematically connected in a
Right.
deep way to the episode.
Well, and I think for me, it's more that it's shocking how many of these episodes realize what they're about halfway through.
Yeah. Well, I wonder if it's more like they write an episode and then they say, if this was normal, this would be an 11-minute episode. That would be great. But now I have to write 11 more pages of this. And how do I do that?
Yeah, it feels like they used to get sort of the intro stuff and the concept of the episode out of the way in the first 3 minutes. And then they
Yeah.
would dive into the main point of it. And now it takes 10 minutes for them to get to the point.
Yeah, but it also used to be they would get done with the whole episode and then they'd have 7 minutes left and then they'd say,
True.
no, it's Superman for some reason, or
Yeah. The ratios are all off as far as what they're
because the show
doing
shouldn't
here.
be 22 minutes long. I think somebody in our Discord said that they were editing it down to 11 minutes as an experiment, and that it worked better. I'm pretty sure.
I was
somebody
say I don't feel like
mentioned
that would it would be time consuming, but I think it would be pretty easy to go, oh, this is much
This
better.
is not, yeah, and also it would be easy to go through and go, this is nothing. This is gone from the episode now.
So Nanny comes in to teach the kids about Cupid and about Valentine's, and teaches about Cupid's arrow, and we see a montage of people kissing each other. And then Gonzo decides he's going to be Cupid, which we'll just sort of run through the episode. I believe that he's just going to be Cupid, right?
I don't think so. I don't think
No?
anything really comes of that.
Mm.
I think he's like, I'm going to shoot you, Piggy, and then Piggy's like, fuck you, and beats him up. And then that's the end of that.
Well, Nanny brings in the Valentine's cookies, really kicking off the episode. The cookies each have their faces on them, but Rolf is sad because after all the kids take their Valentine's cookies, there's no Rolf cookie left for him.
This was devastating.
Also, there's a lot of problems with this section.
Why?
Well, when she brings out the plate, there are 10 cookies on the plate.
Oh.
If you
There's
count.
Not that many babies, though.
There's only 8 babies.
Hmm.
And so when they first show it off, there's a weird, blobby mystery face on the left that doesn't look like any of the Muppets.
What the hell?
And there are 3 visible cookies on the plates that are underneath the other Muppet cookies.
Oh.
That apparently, I don't know, have nothing on them. But once the Muppet Babies all take their cookies, now there's no more cookies. So there's 4 cookies that just mysteriously disappear.
There's just 4 Muppet Babies that we never see who are oh, it's just off screen.
But again, this is about halfway through the episode when Nanny brings in these cookies.
Yeah. That took way too long.
The kids sweetly, though, all decide to make Valentines for Ralph because he's sad, and they assume that Nanny did purposely forget him, maybe.
Yeah.
Because
they do, yeah.
And we get 3 random shots of Rolf being really sad at his piano. And every time I'm like, oh, here we go. Here comes the song.
No, he's really charging up a song this time, though.
So we get a pretty long sequence of the kids making Valentines and having to lie to Rolf about what they're doing, which makes him feel worse along the way.
Yeah. Pretty long as in it's the rest of the episode.
Yeah. Thankfully, Kermit has a smart idea to just go talk to him about it while he sadly plinks away on the piano. But Kermit, this is the part that's all in bold and
This
all
part's
caps.
crazy.
He approaches Rolf in the weirdest, most awkward way possible. He's trying to awkwardly broach the subject and then just falls down for no reason.
And he rolls under the piano.
He doesn't trip on anything
Oh.
or even slip off the piano. He just goes, and just falls.
Yeah. And as somebody who storyboarded animation before, I'm like, what did you? Huh? What were you thinking?
It's not Kermit trying to cheer up Rolf.
Oh.
It's just Kermit
falls.
just falls.
Yeah.
For no reason, nothing comes of it. It's like they just needed to fill 5 seconds, and they're like, oh, he could fall down.
And Ralph's just like, get out of here.
Yeah. This is when Ralph's like, I would rather
be alone. Yeah. When Kermit has this idea, there's a really odd moment, an interesting moment too. But Kermit's like, I want to go talk to him. And then Miss Piggy's like, that's a great idea. And then they have a hug, a boyfriend-girlfriend hug.
Yeah.
Just I love you so much.
You have such good ideas. I'm gonna hug you. There's a lot of I I know the animation is like a little bit worse across the board, but the random moments they just keep interjecting like that, like falling down, the weird random hugs. There's a few
I,
of those just throughout the episodes that I don't understand, like the impulses.
yeah, I don't even know. It is, I guess, I suppose you could say it is worse. It's not super, super worse, but
Mm-hmm.
it is much more, yeah, like you said, it's much more full of just random odd moments, which kind of make it more fun because sometimes you are like, wow, I gotta watch that again.
Well, Gonzo decides they have to cheer him up now so we can make him feel better later, is what
Yeah.
he says. And this leads to Gonzo and Animal going into the closet and become the Blues Brothers.
Being the Blues Brothers, kinda, but not really. Also, kind of not really the Blues Brothers.
Really only like dressing up and singing the Peter Gunn theme.
Yeah.
Which is just bono, 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 bono.
Yeah. And they go, have you ever seen I Think You Should Leave?
I have not actually.
Okay, there's one in the second season, like a skit in the second season, where somebody's trying to make, it's exactly the same thing, where a character's trying to make a couple who are fighting cheer up. So he does the Blues Brothers like dun 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 dun
Yeah.
dun, and he keeps like turning it up higher and higher and higher and dancing crazier and crazier and crazier, and everybody hates it. And that's exactly the same thing that happens in this. Because at the end of this, everyone is just like, dear God, stop.
Well, yeah, because they make Rolf a jelly sandwich because musicians like to jam.
Dear God. Gonzo,
But they just spray jelly everywhere.
Yeah, they goop him up, they fuck up his life, and he's so mad that he locks himself in the closet.
Well, and then Fozzie goes to tell Rolf a joke afterwards, and all the babies are like, oh, please, dear God, no. This is the last thing he needs.
Yeah.
And Rolf agrees because that's after the joke is when he pushes his entire piano into the closet to go hide.
Yeah. It's really good.
Fozzie says, Rolf went into the closet to think about my joke. He'll probably come out when he thinks it's funny.
You idiot.
To which Skeeter replies, gosh, we'll never see him again.
Yeah, there's some kind of okay moments in this episode.
Skeeter always gets the best digs.
Yeah, she
like
really
if
does.
someone's gonna drag another Muppet Baby, it's gonna be
Yeah,
Skeeter,
she's
which is why they
brutal.
voted her off later. That's why she's not around
You're
anymore.
too mean for real.
Yeah. It's that friend who like jokingly is mean, and then they just keep doing it and keep doing it. You're like, actually, no, this is just mean now.
Well,
You're no
yeah,
longer funny.
They're mean in a way, yeah, where they're hitting on real insecurities that you have.
Yeah,
Dear
calling
God.
you Matt the Fat Rat.
Yeah, that's your parents, though.
Well, the Muppets decide to gather all their Valentines for Ralph to give them to him and cheer him up. Nanny comes in finally at this moment and is like, hey, where's the dog? And and they tell Nanny that Rolf is sad because he didn't get a cookie.
Yeah.
And Rolf comes out to reveal that he actually finished his Valentine for all of them, which is an extremely sad, sweet song.
He wasn't even mad at him.
No.
That was heartbreaking.
He just wanted to be left alone so he could make his own sad song.
Yeah.
Like a really weird, like self-deprecating sweet song.
Yeah, it's like, I suck at everything.
But I got good friends.
But that I do like, this felt like adult Rolf to me. Like adult Rolf is very humble and comfortable behind his piano, but otherwise is kind of like, I'm just a simple guy.
Yeah, but I feel like adult Rolf gives less of a shit about the other Muppets.
Yeah, adult Rolf always has that I'm older than the rest of you.
Yeah.
That's true. He would never like feel bad about anything.
He's gonna be the one who like doesn't get invited to go out drinking, and he's gonna be like, yeah, that's cool. I'm just gonna go home anyways.
Like,
I wouldn't have gone.
I was already going out drinking, so I don't need you to invite me.
I've got other friends.
Yeah.
I don't need you guys.
Yeah, I know thousands of dogs.
The one thing I like about the song is that, like I think you mentioned this in the summary, it's a diegetic song.
Yeah, they're listening to him sing it, yeah.
Yeah, unlike most Muppet Baby songs, this is one that Rolf is singing in the world to the Muppet Babies.
This was as close as I've ever gotten to liking Muppet Babies. Because it's just cute, and I love Rolf anyway, and Baby Rolf is cute. There's no denying he's freaking adorable. And yeah, just watching him sing his little song. When the other Muppet Babies came in and started singing backup, I was kind of like, get out of here.
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Nanny does then bring Rolf his Valentine cookie, and she says, you guys are the best Valentines I could ever receive. You're my Valentines because we care about each other.
Nobody ever says they love each other in this episode.
I I think that's okay.
Okay.
Because I do think that's a tricky thing to talk to kids about, is like the concept of love and the difference
But
between
it's like
kinds of
parental.
love.
But it's like parental love, don't you think? But I guess that brings up the whole: is she? How is
Right.
she? How does she fit into this scenario?
Is she a guardian? Is she a babysitter? Like, what is her role here?
Yeah.
And I think that is maybe, don't go to daycare and tell your teacher you love her.
Right.
Kind
I
of
do take
thing.
this as confirmation that she does not love them, though. Like, I come away from
Oh,
this.
okay. That's what you're taking.
Yeah,
You're taking away from
I come
this.
away from this thinking
She will
that,
never say it.
Yeah, that she doesn't. This is a job to her.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, Kermit says, let's go make some more Valentines because there's a whole bunch of people we care about.
Are there?
Notably, he does not name anyone. Because
Bunsen and Beaker? Is that
and Officer Carruthers?
And his bird? Yeah.
A bird and a
And
mouse
his rat?
and a fish.
Yeah.
That's end of list.
The one guy who came and like moved the bed for them or whatever, that one. Like,
the chair was going to
guy.
steal Fozzie away or
That's right.
something.
Yeah.
That might have also been Officer Carruthers for all I remember.
I think it was the same voice at least. Yeah.
And then over the credits, there's a wonderfully nostalgic ad for Doug and Legends of the Hidden Temple.
Yeah. Love hearing Doug.
And now stay tuned for Legends of the Hidden Temple next on Nick.
I wish I could.
Yeah.
It's been 30 years though, my friend. It's not on.
Then there's a weird moment here. There's a go bye-bye where Gonzo starts a poem about an ode to the closet. And the YouTube video cuts off.
We don't know what the ode is.
Well, the funniest thing is, Sam, I was like, you know what? I'm going to find this video. I'm going to find this episode at another source so I can know what the go bye-bye is. And I found another version of this episode on archive.org. And the ending there is completely different.
Oh, weird.
The go bye-bye is Gonzo sitting on a sidewalk dressed as Cupid when Mailman Animal shows up to deliver him a laser-guided Cupid's arrow.
That must be the original one.
Yes.
I would imagine.
And it turns him into a jetpack, and he blasts off. So there's a chance that Nickelodeon was editing the Go Bye Bye.
Was swapping around. Well, one that we watch later is one that we've already seen before, where they serve Animal as dinner. That one we have seen. He's under the cloche, because you said cloche. The cloche reappears in this, and it's the same one.
See, when I saw that, I was like, man, I feel like we just talked about cloches. They must use a lot of cloches in this show. But maybe it's just the same cloche you're saying?
You're like, this is my favorite show ever. Look at all the cloches.
All the cloches.
Yeah, it's the same one, because I remember him kind of like coming out of a blanket and being like, what was he? They cooked him? What's going on
Which
here?
works better on this one because it looks like the goop that Nanny's preparing.
And I do imagine this is that original of that, because I don't remember what. Yeah,
I guess it's important to state then we don't know when we're talking about the Go Bye Bye Byes if we're actually watching the real.
Sorry. Yeah.
Yes, we have failed you as journalists.
We're resigning from the show. We'll be naming replacements shortly. Our wives will have to take over.
Oh, they're gonna hate that.
They would hate that. Yeah. They might have fun talking though.
They had fun talking to each other, but not about Muppet Babies.
Yeah, that's true.
Well, the next episode we watch is Invasion of the Muppet Snackers from November 7th, 1987.
I never want to hear that again. I hate
Invasion of the Muppet Snackers.
Ugh.
Written by Cindy McKay and Larry Swerdlove.
The married couple.
Yep. Kermit, Gonzo, and Fozzie are crawling through the desert, trying not to starve.
I did have another ping of, like, these three together. Those three together will always get me. And you don't ever see that in this show, especially. Gonzo is so separate. He's got his own things going on in this show.
Yeah, he doesn't play along with the kids very often. He's usually like, and now I'm going to do some weird shit on top of what you're doing.
Yeah.
Well, they're hungry for snack time, and Nanny says she already made their snack, but the phone rings. And so she's like, help yourself to the snacks on the table, kids.
Nanny, this is one of your worst blunders yet.
I mean, yeah, there's a good list of one time she just left them alone to go grocery shopping.
Yeah.
Which is a pretty bad one. But yes, she leaves a big old bowl of bad-smelling goop on the table. And while she's on the phone with someone, she's talking about a recipe including sand. And then she turns to Kermit and says, hey, did you find the cookies and milk on the table? And Kermit's like, oh, yeah, they're right here.
We were about to eat the goo. And when we find out what the goo is, it's like, They could have died, I guess.
I think they could have. I wouldn't recommend eating wallpaper
No,
paste.
I don't think so.
But yeah, that in that moment it resolved itself a little faster than I would have thought.
Yeah.
But they return with the snacks and tell the others about the awful goop they saw in the bowl. And one of them says, "Gosh, maybe it's our dinner."
And then
Maybe.
that's just what we got going on for the next half an hour. So strap in.
Well, they ask each other, "What are we gonna do? We can't eat that gross stuff, but we might hurt Nanny's feelings." And Scooter says, "Well, in the future, we won't have to worry about hurting Cook's feelings because they won't have feelings because all of our food will be made by robots."
Scooter's so prescient. He hates art. He wants robots to do everything.
Tries to write a poem with ChatGPT.
Scooters took over the world.
Scooter is Elon Musk.
He is. This is the future Scooter wanted. We're living in Scooter's future. It's also just so funny every time to think they made Scooter the smart one. The stupidest Muppet. Like, he really is one of the stupidest Muppets in the Muppet Show. Everybody hates him. He's not smart. He's definitely not smart.
Sam, you know what it is?
What? The glasses.
Correct.
That's only the glasses.
He's the nerd. He wears glasses. He's got to be the smart one.
Yeah. Why? Yeah. I mean, Bunsen is right there. They even put Bunsen in the show, but they still just couldn't be like, Bunsen's in the... Why doesn't Bunsen just get to be in the show? I don't get it.
It's a good question. Well, Skeeter's talking about the food and says, "It's probably good for us." To which Rolf responds, "Whenever something looks awful, smells disgusting, and tastes like boiled dirt, grown-ups say it's good for you."
This is something that always has bothered me about cartoons. Why were they so... I don't know. I guess if I made a cartoon, I wouldn't be like, all food is like, broccoli's disgusting. Why is that such a thing?
This is a terrible lesson to teach kids. That, like, if your parents tell you food is good for you, it's gonna taste bad.
Yeah, that's so stupid. I was like, I've been going to movies with a 5-year-old and the rest of his family.
I was gonna say,
but we went to see that Transformers 1, and they're just like blowing each other's heads off, and I'm like, well, this is not great. I don't think I don't think you necessarily should.
I guess this isn't my 5-year-old, so it's not my call.
Yeah, it's not my problem. I didn't pick to go to this movie. I'm just here. But yeah, like if I walked by, because I feel like Bluey, probably there's episodes where it's like, this is disgusting. But the theme, like the message of the episode is, no, it's like, it's not disgusting. Or maybe they didn't even mention it.
Yeah.
But
having seen some Bluey, there are moments where you're like, oh shit, they're going to tackle this on this episode? Okay, that's wild. But they actually reckon with it and deal with it.
Right.
And talk about like, yeah, that wasn't a good thing. Like there's an episode where the dad is super competitive and won't let the kids win any games. And just keeps like, oh, you want to do a foot race? Let's go. Just like destroys them every time. And like, he does it more than you would think. Like there's more instances where you're like, oh, okay, he's still doing it. He's still destroying them at checkers or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But they deal with that. And by the end of the episode, he's acknowledging, he's like, yeah, maybe that wasn't a good thing for me to do.
Right. But in this Rolf just says, it's if it is good for you, it's disgusting. And they leave it at that. And then at the end of the episode, it's just still like, well, yeah, we're eating fried chicken.
Yeah. Well, Skeeter imagines maybe if it's bad, it'll give us superpowers. Because why not?
Yeah, sure.
And their version of superpowers is Conan the Barbarian.
I'd argue it's He-Man, because they call each other Kerman and Skooman. So I think that's like Mermaid
Conan?
He-Man. Oh, fuck. Is that why he's named He-Man?
That I don't know.
Conan.
But I think Kerman, because they say Barbabians.
Oh, okay.
They call each other Barbabians, and then it's like, oh, Kerman, Skonan.
Yeah, I guess you're probably more right. It doesn't have that much.
I think we could both be right.
Okay. Well, He-Man was a big thing at this time, so.
Yeah. I forgot about He-Man when I was watching this, so
I've never forgotten about He-Man in my entire life, so.
Well, they release new toys all the time, so you can't.
I can't. I'll always be there for you with my He-Man knowledge.
My only He-Man knowledge is watching the live-action film. That's the only He-Man I've ever seen. It felt like a cartoon that I was slightly, like it was just before me. Like my cousins were really into He-Man,
right, and
like Transformers and stuff, and I felt like I wasn't quite there.
Yeah, that is right. We were a little too young for it. We
were watching Muppet Babies.
I got all my He-Mans as pass-me-downs from my older cousins. Hand-me-downs, whatever. Yes, that.
Well, yeah, Scooter and Skeeter are there. Skeeter force feeds Scooter, and he grows huge and muscular.
Yeah, they're huge and muscular, which is terrifying.
It's unsettling.
And their voices get like weirdly so it's like an adult
Very
doing
deep.
a baby voice that is modulated back to being like a deep baby voice.
And this is another one of those like random imagination moments where it's a little Family Guy-ish.
Yeah,
it's like, wouldn't it be crazy if it gave us superpowers?
Yeah.
I'm a barbarian. And it's like, end of imagination segment. Back to
Yeah.
Piggy.
That's where
And
Family Guy got the idea for the whole show.
I don't love those as much as like the longer imagination moments where they feel like the kids are actually having fun playing together.
Yeah.
Because this, like, what is the real life version of this? Skeeter says, what if it gave us superpowers? And they go, huh. And that's it.
And then they all just sit there looking up. Could be.
Well, Piggy can now smell the bad stuff Nanny is making, eking chemicals into their nursery.
Does wallpaper paste stink?
I don't imagine it smells good. It's just like glue.
Okay.
And when you're making a giant vat of it.
I guess so. Open a window.
Then they might get out, though, Sam.
Yeah, right. Well, one of them does get out next episode.
We will. I have theories.
Okay. Okay.
So Gonzo shows up as part of a toxic waste disposal unit, says they gotta get rid of that stuff.
Yeah.
So the babies suit up and head out to dispose of the toxic waste, but they run into Nanny, who lets everyone know she has something special for them for dinner. And Doo-Wop is back.
They doo-wop? Oh, the give food a chance is a doo-wop, isn't it?
Give food a chance. Which is Kermit trying to convince his friends that maybe they should try good foods.
Yeah. There's a line where they're like, carrots, broccoli, they're trying their best, which is a hilarious thing to say about food.
Well, and it backfires a bit because after the song, all the friends are like, yeah. Good idea. Go try it, Kermit.
That is great. He's all bluster and he's like, oh boy. Oh, then it goes insane. Okay.
Yeah.
This is when it goes crazy.
This is when Piggy, we get more body horror.
Yeah.
Piggy imagines a Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde scenario where Kermit tries a new soda and becomes a monster while on their date, and then they go bowling for some reason. And I don't know why any of this is happening at this point, but Piggy, Gonzo, and Kermit all drink the soda and all turn into big gross monsters just to kill time, while Kermit went to try the food that Nanny is making, but actually doesn't even try it.
He chickened out, didn't even do it at all.
That's definitely one of those episode filler moments where you're just like, none of this makes any sense. There's no reason for any of this to happen. You just want to draw a big weird monster.
And it's unpleasant to look at.
Mm-hmm. If you're on our Patreon Discord, whenever we run into truly wild shit like this, I will often just screenshot it and share it with no context in our Discord just to be like, look at this weird show we're watching. While the kids are worrying about having to eat it still, Rolf comes in with this line and says, gosh, what if it's all Nanny can't afford? We do eat a lot. Sand and glue are probably cheaper than food. What if we have to eat it every night? Appropriate. The twist here. We're now in Oliver Twist. Where the kids all see themselves in an orphanage, starving.
Eating goop.
Yeah, Nanny interrupts, coming in with the bucket of goop and says, hi, kids. And Skeeter asks what's in the bucket. And she says, it's a surprise, but it won't be ready until dinner.
Yeah,
and then says,
Nanny.
See you later, kids. And walks out of the room while dripping goop on the floor.
Bucket of goop. And
there is no reason for her to come into this room at this point. She doesn't come in and say, how's it going, kids? What are you doing? They don't make a noise to bring her in there. She walks in with the bucket of goop, says hi. The kids go, what's in the bucket? And she says, it's a surprise.
Don't worry
Bye.
about it.
There's no reason for her to be in that room at that moment.
And she's slopping the glue on the floor. What is her problem?
Yeah, Gonzo now imagines that the goop is the blob and is going to chase after them, which they solve by throwing pies at the blob because the only way to fight bad food is with good food. In my notes, again, it's been a while since I watched this episode, but my only note in this section says, this show is bad.
Yeah, it sucks.
Really getting into the nuance of the my takes on Muppet Babies here.
It is just bad, though.
Well, dinner is finally ready. They have to go have a picnic in the nursery. And the bowl is set down, And inside the surprise bowl, it's your favorite. It's fried chicken. The favorite of toddlers everywhere.
Hard to eat. One of the harder foods to eat, I would say.
Yeah, they got chicken nuggets for a reason.
Yeah, hopefully there's chicken strips in this fried chicken basket.
It looked like drumsticks.
Yeah,
I think
you're
there's
right.
bones happening.
And Gonzo's eating this? Are you kidding me? I don't think so.
Some troubling thoughts there.
Yeah.
Well, the nanny does show them their after-dinner surprise, the goop, which was actually wallpaper paste because she put up new wallpaper in the bathroom.
And that's the
most
surprise. Why?
Exciting thing a baby could possibly love.
Why couldn't it be a good surprise? Why did this episode have to exist at all? Who thought?
Also, those babies ain't used the bathroom all day. I mean, Rolf and Animal got diapers.
Yeah, so they're okay.
They're pooping all day.
We don't know what Fozzie has under his onesie. He could have a diaper too.
He could have a diaper as well. You're right. And the episode ends with Gonzo just falling in the wallpaper bucket.
And everyone laughs and laughs and laughs at him as he flails around. This could be solved by making the episode be that nanny's making something that would maybe be considered gross for dinner, and then they try it and say this is delicious.
Yeah.
Why even bring wallpaper?
That actually does solve the problem of like try foods that are actually good for you. It could be like a broccoli casserole thing. They're like, oh, actually broccoli's good, kids.
And you could eat that with fried chicken too or something. Like, why bring wallpaper paste into this? Maybe this.
And the fact that we're recording this at lunchtime is bad news because now I'm just real hungry for fried chicken.
Yeah.
I had it last night.
The married couple was re-wallpapering their house. Like this new couple writing the episode, and they were like, "Oh shit, we forgot to write an episode on Muppet Babies."
This goop looks good. But yes, this episode does end with the go bye-bye, where a waiter brings out a cloche where Animal is hiding under the blanket, looking like a big blob.
And we all learned what a cloche was in the previous episode.
And the last episode we are here to talk about this week is Twinkle Toe Muppets from November 14th, 1987. Plop little 2-month-old Matt down in front of the TV and let him enjoy. Yeah.
The debate about what art is.
Sam, how does the episode all about dancing end up being the only episode of Muppet Babies to never have a song in it?
That's crazy, right? Why does that happen?
Why is there no song in this episode?
And there's a bunch of times where it looks like someone's about to start singing a song and no one ever does. How?
There's so many times they cue a song and then like doo-wop music starts and then they just dance in silence with no lyrics.
You can almost see like Gonzo like take a big breath in to start singing the song and then nothing happens. It's so weird.
Yeah, well, the babies are kicking off the episode with a tumbling competition. They've lined up like 100 pillows and cushions from somewhere in the house.
Looks fun as hell to me. This looks great.
Oh, yeah. This is shit I would do all the time when I was a kid. It's just pull all the cushions off the couch, lay them on the floor. Now you just got a bunch of cushions on the floor.
Slam yourself into the ground as hard as you possibly could. Yeah.
We're going to play Power Rangers, guys. I'm the Green Ranger. Let's go. This is rocks now. I'm hiding behind this.
Were you always the Green Ranger?
Yeah, I was always Tommy. Either Green or White Ranger.
That tracks for you.
Yeah, it does. He's a badass. Had to make up for being the fat rat as a kid.
Yeah, it's kind of a bulk and skull type persona they were trying to put on. Yeah.
The jacket is definitely like a bulk and skull jacket too.
That farty music played every time you walked in the room. Wait, you hear that? Here comes Matt.
With his rat tail.
Did you have a rat tail?
I did.
You are really
that was like third grade.
Guy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's cool.
You're welcome.
I think I've seen maybe a picture of your rat tail.
I wouldn't be surprised. It was a choice. Well, the babies are interrupted in their tumbling competition by Piggy, who comes in wearing a ballet outfit because she just got back from ballet class.
But you don't believe her.
I believe her. I'm just saying maybe somewhere in this compound, the government has built a ballet class into the compound. So she walked down the hall to her ballet class.
Yeah. Or maybe even like a car simulator where you can like you go outside, get in the car, nanny drives you. But I guess they don't know enough about the world to even know that they don't have to leave the house.
She
to
could have
do
walked
it.
into the other room. Nanny put on that same VHS tape she shares later
Yeah.
and is like, yeah, welcome to ballet class.
I mean, for my part, I think somebody right in the episode just didn't get the memo that they weren't allowed to leave the house. I think that
Yes.
rule is now broken.
I think there are 2 confirmed moments now of babies leaving the house. One
Yeah.
is when Scooter went outside with his robot.
And then climbed in through the window like
Yes.
a madman.
And the second is Piggy coming home from ballet class, which
Yeah.
does feel like it upsets the rules of the world a little bit.
Yep.
But I also am happy to hear that they're allowed to leave sometimes. Although, did Nanny drive her?
Yeah, why?
Because there's 7 other babies.
Oh, she left all the babies again. She shouldn't do that.
Maybe somebody carpooled and took Piggy to class.
You have too many babies. But now they all want to go to dance class, so it's that problem
It's fine,
solved.
yeah.
That's expensive, though. 8
Yeah,
babies in
it's
dance class? Are you kidding me?
$800 a week.
Yeah.
Well,
Don't have to eat sand and glue.
Well, Skeeter immediately puts down Piggy, being like, you don't need lessons to dance. You just got to move to the
She's
music.
mean. This is mean.
This is one of those episodes like we've seen on this and Fraggle Rock sometimes where the mean people don't learn their lessons that they should learn.
Right. It's also something that we don't see in Fraggle Rock, where the girl characters in this show are explicitly just there to be mean to each other. That is like their only role ever, and that's
and it's always Piggy is the cliche girly things, and Skeeter's like, that's dumb.
Yeah, and they never really they never agree on anything. They never have any camaraderie. They just hate each other.
I'd be very interested to see. I know there is an episode at some point where Janice shows up for some reason.
She's like their babysitter, I think.
I think so.
Yeah.
So I'll be curious to see what the dynamics are when you introduce another female character into this.
Nanny's subcontracting her babysitting.
Yeah, nannies don't hire babysitters traditionally. Well, this leads to a prolonged gonzo dancing while animals sort of beatboxes.
Yeah, sure.
And Piggy is like, that dancing isn't real dancing. Real dancing is beautiful, like Swan Lake. And at this point, I will say, the concept of this episode seemed interesting.
Yeah,
of
a debate.
Piggy, Piggy's often like presented as stubborn, set in her ways, or like, I must be right.
Mm-hmm.
But I thought it could be interesting to do an episode where Piggy is so, in the mind of ballet class that she is convinced of this. And she has to like sort of learn how to be fun and not as stuck up about this, which could work.
Yeah, or even just
stay in that lane.
Or even just like, and sometimes when they talk about art, they are kind of like surprisingly sophisticated when they talk about art in this show. I feel like we've seen that a couple other times, but like a debate between, and actually, I mean, this is what the episode is, like a debate between, does art have to be the stuffy thing that you see in a museum or on a stage, or is it people dancing in the street and like rock and roll types of like rock and roll popular fad dances, like that all. The lesson is always like, this is all good under the umbrella of art. Like this is all right. It's not done very well, but that is what
I think that's the problem. Is along the way there's a lot of weird choices made.
Right.
Like the next thing that happens is Swan Lake story time.
Yeah.
Where we just see Piggy playing the cursed princess. Kermit's the handsome prince, and they need to get married to break the curse. But like this is just Piggy telling them the story of Swan Lake.
Mm-hmm.
It is not her doing it to prove that ballet is important or better. Right. Like there's no goal with this story other than to be like, oh yeah, I heard of this ballet once.
Yeah. And it leans, and then it has like a weird dream logic too, where all of a sudden it's like she's telling the story, but also they're on stage performing it, and then she gets like,
well, that happens in the next.
That's a different one?
Yes, there's 2 Swan Lake sections in this.
Okay. This is confusing. This is like a confusing episode.
Yeah, what happens next in this part is Rolf, Gonzo, Fozzie, and Animal come in their cute ballet outfits playing the other swans.
Yeah.
And Piggy, it becomes a little bit like this little Piggy Went to Hollywood episode where Piggy starts hijacking the episode.
Mm-hmm.
But this time she gets called out a little bit because it sort of goes back to the nursery and we see Rolf and Animal and tumbling around in their ballet outfits, which they seem to really have. And then Piggy starts to go on with the story again. And Rolf's like, wait, there's more? And now the second half of this story, Swan Lake is just a ballet that they're putting on,
Right.
and Piggy gets locked in her dressing room, so they send out Skeeter instead.
Yeah, and what's the reality of that? Does it show Piggy like stuck in something, or she's just like
I mean, yeah, I
she's
don't
not
think
like locked
so.
in the closet? Okay.
That would have been funny
Yeah.
if like she had gotten bumped by animal or something like that and got locked in the closet, and so.
Yeah.
But this is one of the moments where Skeeter gets chosen to go out instead of Piggy,
Mhm.
and she goes out and says, "Let's get down and boogie, hit it, fellas!" And you hear doo-wop music start, and you might expect, because this is Muppet Babies, a musical number.
Oh,
But
not
instead,
yet. Not yet.
they just keep dancing
Yeah.
with no words, and then Gonzo is like, this ballet needs some chickens. Piggy freaks out, screams, which brings Nanny into the room because Skeeter has ruined her ballet. And that's when Nanny has to tell the girls that there are all kinds of dances, some artsy, some fun. And I got a videotape that shows dancing from all over the world.
Yeah, I'm again not going to teach you anything. I will
No,
leave
no,
it
no, no,
to
no.
media. At least this one, you don't have to not read. This one you can just watch on TV.
And I'm not going to bring you a book that's useless.
Yeah.
I'm going to bring you a VHS tape, which there is a very, very cute moment when Nanny goes to put it in the VCR.
Yeah.
Scooter jumps up and is like, Nanny, let me do it.
He either Nanny doesn't know how to use a VCR, or Scooter is like a little mansplainer, you know?
I think those are both bad faith reads of this situation.
Okay.
I think this is one of those things where a kid wants to help do
Okay.
something. And
It was a cute moment. I didn't mean to argue in bad faith against Scooter. Yeah, I agree that it was sweet.
He's not quite incel Scooter at this point.
No, he definitely is.
Eventually.
Yeah, they do lean into that with him. But yeah, not yet.
Well, they put the VHS tape in, and it's not an extremely informative tape. It's just a montage.
Just a crazy montage, yeah. Like
just
2
different
seconds
dances.
of every kind of dance you could think of.
Which I guess could be helpful because you do get to see this
Yeah.
is an all ballet. But this leads to all the babies getting up and wanting to dance, except for Scooter, who just wants to sit there and watch.
That's fine. So not everybody likes to dance.
It should be fine. That's what this lesson, maybe a 2018 Muppet Babies lesson would be. Hey, it's okay if your one friend is a little bit more introverted and doesn't want to dance with you.
Right.
But instead, Skeeter and Piggy start fighting over what kind of dancing Scooter should want to do.
Yeah. And to the point where they are both pulling on one of his arms, like ripping him in half.
Attempting to draw and quarter Scooter.
Yeah.
At this point, it's very weird because you hit the halfway point of the episode. They introduce this new concept of now the episode's about Scooter.
And yeah, it just leans all the way in on
dance.
that. That's what the whole rest of it is.
But it doesn't either. That's the other problem. With this Fozzie Piggy thing, why are Fozzie and Piggy dancing?
Yeah.
It's just like the concept of dance is the driving force of this episode.
Well, yeah, but like that's what you never watched Pee-wee's Playhouse, but that's kind of what Pee-wee's Playhouse was. It was like every episode was a new thought like that. Like there'd be an episode about dance where Pee-wee would watch a cartoon where people are dancing. Then he'd talk to one of the puppets and they'd be like, I like to dance like this. And the other puppet would be like, I like to dance like this. Or like one of like Miss Yvonne would come in and teach him how to ballroom dance or something like that. And it was all just like little vignettes that weren't necessarily like a through line. And Pee-wee would do, of course, his famous dance, I'm sure, that we all know and love. So yeah, there is a way to do like variations on a topic, but just not this way.
Well, and it also like gets so far away from Piggy's like only beautiful dancing is dancing competition with Skeeter, because as it pivots into being about Scooter not wanting to dance, it's really just all the Muppets take turns trying to teach him how to dance now.
Right. Yeah.
So like Gonzo does like a weird Moominshans
with a scary
dancing
guy in the back.
I think it's actual Moominshans.
Oh, is it? Okay.
Yeah. Animal has painted feet on paper, and Scooter actually kind of seems into that idea.
Animal gets a little too wild for him, but he is into that idea.
Throws too many pieces of paper at him, and he falls down.
Yeah.
Rolf puts on a record.
Yes, he does.
Queuing up some music.
Time as Rolf's on screen. There's music playing. What's going to happen next?
Obviously not a musical number. Instead, we meet Dogman Rolf.
who I loved. I loved Dogman Rolf.
With his little Guy Fieri goatee going on.
Yeah, he looked cool. And I have a soft spot for like the Monster Mash is part of this world of like these fad dances where the song was like the mashed potato was about doing the mashed potato. I like that kind of thing. So we do see a fun like a bunch of shots of that stuff.
Well, and this feels right for Rolf to be of that era.
Yeah.
But it's just so funny that they don't do a song.
Yeah. And the time's running out. You like hover over the little thing on YouTube where you're like, oh, they only got like 4 minutes left, guys. You gotta cram this song in.
But we learn that Scooter still just wants to watch the rest of the tape. But Piggy goes full dance mom and attempts to teach him a ballet. And during their lesson, Skeeter is dancing out in the streets on top of a taxi cab. And we get into sort of a dance gang war, West Side Story like moment.
Kind of cool. I kind of like this part.
Yeah, I think it works. As far as like landing the plane, I think they did that because there's a bit of a brawl brewing here between Piggy and Skeeter, and Scooter solves the day by coming out tap dancing in a top hat and tails.
I'm not sure why tap dance is the great uniter between fun and beautiful, but I guess that kind of does make sense.
You get to make some stomping noises and you wear a top hat.
And you're kind of like smiling and waving your arms around. Yeah, so it is like an art form that unites the two, I suppose. But it is, it is another moment.
It's a stretch.
It's a stretch. It's funny that he figures out he's good at tap dancing because he like falls down and like stomps his feet. He's like, hey, I got
wait a minute.
It's great that he comes out in a top hat and tails and is like really going for it. And it would be a great opportunity for a little song.
And all the babies do a choreographed dance together.
Yeah.
To another instrumental.
Yeah. I don't know. The guy was on vacation this week. The song guy. He took his
no, you don't get any songs this week. Sorry. Yeah. Well, Skeeter and Piggy both learn to accept each other's dance styles, and all the babies ask if they can go to dance class with Piggy next week. And that does it for another week of Muppet Babies.
You know what? I didn't have such a bad time watching it this week.
I think I've accepted my fate.
I think these ones were like, I think I like the parts where the animation goes bonkers, and that like keeps me. It's like a little bit more unpredictable now in a way where like when Kermit fell under that piano, I was like, what are the physics of that? And how did you think of it? I think it adds a little bit of fun like weirdness to it.
I think those moments are more frustrating to me than they are fun, but I do like when they take big swings and do like, even if I don't like the random imagination segments where it's like, what about Conan the Barbarian?
Yeah.
I do like at least getting to see some weird shit while we're doing it.
Yeah. Babies turning into creepy things. And
there's images, there's drawings of the Muppets in this show that we would not have ever seen had we not watched this show.
Alarming ones.
Oh, absolutely.
And I think there might be a few more episodes where there aren't songs, which makes me in a row. Because I was going through the next few and it was like, it doesn't have the song listed like it does for every other episode.
Interesting.
And I'm wondering if the new company isn't ready to do those big numbers that the other company did. Because those would get pretty weird and like complicated. Right. But I don't know. They've done it a couple other times. I just wonder if that is part of the cost cutting. Maybe is just like we're not doing that part. We're not painting these new backgrounds or whatever. But we'll see.
Well, we will see. Thankfully, not next week. We get a little bit of a break. But before we get out of here, Sam, I gotta ask, what non-Muppet things have you enjoyed over the past 3 weeks?
I don't remember except that I saw Wicked yesterday.
Hey, how was Wicked?
Hey, I kind of liked it. I'm not familiar with the play at all. I don't know what it's about.
Well, you do now.
Well, I know half of what it's about.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, you don't know the second half.
Yeah, when I was in there, they did not advertise it as part 1. I knew it was part 1, but the title screen comes up and then it goes like part 1 underneath it, and the lady next to me was like, "Oh, what? I didn't know that this was only part 1." So I think
it's a weird choice.
The trend with a lot of musical movies has been to not really push that they're musicals, which I feel like even Wicked has done to some degree.
The early trailers for Wicked did not include any singing.
Yeah, and this thing has a lot of singing in it, I tell you what.
Yeah.
And also, like Mission Impossible and Fast and Furious both were part ones.
Secretly musicals.
I wish. I bet Tom Cruise wishes too. They were part ones that weren't advertised as part ones necessarily, or started off advertised as part ones, and then that was like quietly erased from the marketing.
Dead Reckoning Part 1. Oops,
Yeah.
never mind.
And now the second one isn't even called Dead Reckoning anymore. I don't think
so.
But anyway, but I liked it. It doesn't. The trailers also, I remember people seeing it and being like, "This looks like AI and looks like shit." The sets are basic, from what I could tell, mostly practical. Like obviously, there's parts where something crazy is happening that they're not, but it looked really good. Like they look like they're really there. It's not a big green screen mess. It's lit well, which shouldn't be rare for a movie, but is rare for a movie. It just is like an extravaganza, like you would expect it to be. And there's lots of really fun moments, and Ariana Grande is genuinely hilarious in it. But she's my favorite kind of character that is like a Daffy Duck. Do you know the play at all?
Yeah, I've seen the play.
So she's like Glinda, but she's also like so full of herself, but also trying really hard to be a good person. And just the way that she does nice things is so self-serving that it's funny every time. And she's great. It's just a fun time.
I'm currently listening to the audiobook of Wicked, which holy shit. I knew that like the book and the musical are so far apart from each other.
The book's a lot dark. It's pretty dark, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do not let your 5-year-old read that book.
Okay.
There's a lot of, I think the book was like early mid 90s when it came out, and it feels like it. Like it feels like some troubling things are in there that wouldn't necessarily be written in books these days, at least as casually as they are mentioned, some of the traumatic things that happen. And there's a lot more spent on Elphaba's life as a child than there is in the play, and I'm guessing the movie. I saw the play long time ago, like 2008, I want to say, like that. So my memory of it is a little hazy, but no, I'm excited to see the movie.
Yeah, it was good. It was fun. Well, what have you been watching? Some race cars.
Watched race cars this weekend. Last night, I stayed up until like 1:30 to watch the Vegas race. I'm happy to announce that I have finished Ghost of Tsushima since we last talked.
That's good for you, I think.
I started playing Astrobot, which is amazing.
Oh yeah, I want to play it so bad.
Sam, it's so good.
I really loved the other ones, and there's kind of like a built-in tech demo version of it. Have you played that?
Yeah, I've played all the Astrobot things.
I love that too.
There was the PS5 demo. There was the VR version.
Yeah.
All fun. This is a full-on game. Feels very much like Mario, whichever the Galaxy, the hat one. What's Odyssey?
Yeah. Odyssey.
It feels very much like Mario Odyssey, but honestly, like better. At every turn, they have made the best choice to make the game as fun as possible. But yeah, on top of that, I've been watching a bunch of movies. We watched the 2005 Pride and Prejudice. I watched The Big Lebowski again for the first time in a long time. Still very good.
Good movie.
And then last night we did our Christmas decorating. So we watched Muppet Christmas Carol, and we watched the John Denver and the Muppets Christmas.
Yeah, I saw you watch a Muppet Christmas Carol, and Rachel was like, "Is he researching?" And I said, "No, he's just insane."
Yeah, because we do have some screenings coming up at our local movie theater again, where we are sponsoring it again. So we are going to see it at least once in the theater after I just watched it yesterday.
That's fine. It's one of those movies you can't really watch too many times, I don't think.
Well, and it was really fun to watch it with people last year, like in a theater.
It was.
I just want to like, obviously I don't actually mean this because I'm not this outgoing, but it made me want to be friends with everybody in that theater.
Yeah.
I was like, you're all here to watch Muppets.
Yeah.
So clearly you like Muppets.
Yeah.
Like we could have a conversation about Muppets at least.
That's why we're friends with Rick DeSantis or whatever his name is now.
Oh no. Well, gotta let you know what we'll be watching next time because it's not Muppet Babies. We're going back to somewhere we haven't been since earlier this summer, and that place is Sesame Street.
A better show for babies. That should
better
be
show for babies.
That should be the title of the pitch. What is that called? The slogan.
Yeah.
That should be the slogan for Sesame Street.
A better show for babies. Well, we're going back to Sesame Street with Sesame Street season 19.
Wow.
We'll watch Luis and Maria get married.
Wow.
And we'll watch plenty of other clips, including Cookie Monster rapping, and some Sesame Street appearances from Pee Wee Herman, Madeline Kahn, and our old pal, Max Headroom.
Everybody had Max Headroom fever, I guess, at this point.
Yeah. I want to give a huge shout out to Shane, who's in our Discord and just, in the Tough Pigs Muppet fandom world, who helped me compile a fantastic list of clips and episodes for us to watch.
Yeah, this is great.
So, yeah, that will be next time. We'll be talking about Sesame Street season 19.
I'm going to get to see Pee-wee?
You're going to get to see Pee-wee.
Hell yeah.
Just doing the alphabet.
That's all he needs to do.
It's like, how they had James Earl Jones early on do the alphabet?
Yeah.
They do that now, but it's Pee Wee Herman and Max Headroom.
Oh, okay. I'm excited for this.
Yeah. The James Earl Joneses of their day. Well, we want to thank our friend Tuna for making the music for this podcast and Cassie Wilson for singing our theme song. Don't forget to go to commitment.com for all your commitment needs. And you can also rate and review this podcast wherever you're listening to it right now. You can also email us at mail@commitment.com if you have any questions. You can also follow this podcast on social media at CommitmentPod or on Blue Sky at commitment.com. We're posting a lot more to Blue Sky.
Yep.
We're finding a whole bunch of new people who don't even know about our podcast over there, which is great. So check us out on Blue Sky. We are still on Twitter for now, but who knows how long that'll be.
I'm not on Twitter. I don't look at it anymore. So if you need me, that's where I am.
Sam's on Blue Sky. I'm just everywhere because I'm addicted and can't get away from it. But you can follow me everywhere at Matthew Gatos.
And I'm Sam Schultz, or at I'm samschultz.bluesky.com or whatever. I think if you do I'm Sam Schultz, you'll find me.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the commitment one is because we have a URL, it's just at commitment.com. So you can find us.
You can do it. You can attach a URL to it.
If you own a URL, you can attach your verified URL to your username and just replace your username with a new URL.
Well, okay.
So if you get, sam.com, there you go.
What is sam.com?
Probably Sam's Club. Oh.
Strategic Asset Management. Strategic Asset Management, a diversified real estate investment company. Boring.
That's the worst possible choice.
That sucks. Yeah. At least it could have been porno or something. Come on.
Well, on that note, as always, keep believing.
Keep pretending.